Welcome to another episode of Entrepreneurs in Fuego. We're documenting the journey of incredible hypnotists, such as my... That's you, right? You're America's hottest hypnotist.
Well, sure, you live in Arizona. You got to be hot, right? And then I used to travel, so it was America.
And you travel throughout it, so you're America's hottest hypnotist.
Yeah,
Absolutely, truth in advertising.
Yeah, and when you have to pay for it to get that trademark, you know, you're always the hottest, as long as you cough up.
You travel all over the place.
I travel all around the country.
Hypnotizing people.
Yes, and if I can't do that, I bring a mallet and I hit them over the head.
Does it work?
The mallet, yes. The hypnosis most of the time.
I mean, it's taking somebody's conscious mind and bringing it into the subconscious mind. Is that what really?
Well, what you're doing is, if, like for instance, Taylor's watching us over there.
Yes.
If she's focused in on me, her secretary is talking to me right now. Whereas she's hypnotized, her boss comes forward and makes the decisions.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Don't put her to sleep, because you know.
Well, I don't want her to fall over and ruin the camera.
Precisely.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing this thing, Bob?
1969.
How does? I mean, do you go to school and like?
I learned in Vietnam.
But
I was drafted, and then when I extended to get out of the service, they sent me back to the rear.
Yeah.
And I was working with a doctor. I got assigned to his unit because I was a medic, and I was working with post-traumatic stress disorder. And everybody who got into his unit had to learn how to use hypnosis, because that was one of the treatments he was using.
Was it effective back then?
It's as effective as any treatment is, depending on the individual person you're working with. In other words, you say the same thing to 2 or 3 people. Some people will be interested in stopping smoking by using one method compared to hypnosis, or
right.
Somebody else, and so forth. So depends on the individual's post-traumatic stress disorder and what caused it and what it was, and whether they're open to listening to you.
Hypnosis,
but that's a methodology that can be used in the therapy.
Hypnosis has been around since the 1700s.
It's been longer than that. It just wasn't. They didn't have a definition for it.
Correct. Now, how do you? I get that you were in the service and you got into that, but was there something that?
Well, I was good at it. It's an art. But
how do you find out that you're good at it?
By doing it. In other words, over and over and over, and seeing.
And you get a feedback from people saying, you know,
you're people respond to what you're doing. It's like anybody else. If I'm an artist and I draw stick figures, I'm not going to sell my painting over a period of time.
All right.
Whereas if I'm an artist and I do a very good painting, then I can make money at it. Well, the same thing with hypnosis. If you practice, you get better at it. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. If I say something and she responds, then I build on that focus accordingly. Oh. And so it's step 1, see how she responds, and I have to have an automatic comeback to whatever she does. So if you nod your head, then I know that you're responding, so then I could go to the next wording pattern.
So you're very observational?
You have to be very observation with the people that are on stage, if you're doing entertainment, or if you're doing therapy, because no matter what you're doing, you have to adapt to their response. They don't have to adapt as much to you as you have to adapt to them.
The people that we see on stage, and you put them to sleep, and they go into a trance.
They go into the same hypnotic state that the person in therapy does, except for the wording pattern for the individual treatment that you're working with. When you're working with somebody for smoking, you might have talked to them beforehand about what you want to say, how you want to say it, etc., etc. On stage, when they're up there, they've come up and volunteered to be a subject, and then you'll word the suggestions according to how they're responding. So if you have 4 people responding, and you have to decide which one's going to be the lead actor in your routine and which one's going to be the the one that's a supporting character. So which one's going to play the guitar and which one's going to be the vocalist for your routine. So If Taylor was responding fast for one of my suggestions, then I might use her as Taylor Swift, and I might have you as the guitar player.
Right.
Whereas if you're responding faster, she might be the drummer, and you might be Elvis. So it would depend on how you're responding in each.
That's pretty cool. Now you've used hypnosis to, of course, assist people to treat addictions.
I do both therapy and entertainment. The addictions are better if you're on drugs or if you're on alcohol, to go through a 21-day rehab. Then after they're out of the rehab, using the hypnosis for the self-esteem and feeling good about yourself, so that they stay off the medication.
Is there one case, one event where you hypnotize someone that is memorable, that really stands out in your mind? Either you changed somebody's life and that person was forever grateful, or was there a funny hypnosis type of thing where you remember that as well?
The most positive one, I had worked with a girl when she was about 10 for something, and then she was in a automobile wreck when she was about 22. And she was using hysterical paralysis. She was punishing herself so she couldn't walk, because she had been in the wreck and she had caused the wreck.
Wow.
Well, after she was going to a dentist, and she's afraid of dentistry. So while we had her under hypnosis for the dentist, for the pain control, we also, knowing her hysterical paralysis, gave her a suggestion that I took her back in time prior to the wreck, and we had her walk around the room, because there was nothing wrong with her, and we videotaped it. And then after the session was over, she realized that she was punishing herself, and there was nothing wrong with it, and she was able to get up and walk.
How was that moment for her? It must have been an incredible realization.
She realized she had been in denial that there was anything wrong, that she could walk, because she thought for sure the wreck had caused it, but all the neurologists said there was nothing wrong with her, that she was doing it up here.
If you weren't doing hypnosis, what would you be doing?
I'm an RN. I'm a registered nurse.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I used a GI Bill out of Vietnam. I was a cardiovascular intensive care. I worked,
that's a cool thing.
And so I worked a lot with migraines and phobias and test anxieties, et cetera, et cetera. So that's what I'd be doing if I wasn't.
The fun part of hypnosis, what we see on TV, people going into these trances,
the entertainment part.
The entertainment part. Is that stage, or is that half real, or is it really true, where you have people?
They're dreaming. Have you ever had a vivid dream that seemed realistic to you, that you were doing an outlandish thing?
Yeah.
Well, that's the way they feel on stage. They're dreaming that they're at a Bon Jovi concert. They're dreaming that they just met their favorite actor or actress. They're dreaming that she's seeing 3 or 4 people with her glasses off or so forth like that. It's all individualized, so the wording patterns are. And so let's say I'm talking to Taylor, and I'm telling her that she's now watching Richie Sambora on stage. She's
Richie Sambora? That's an interesting reference.
She's dreaming that she's the one, the guitar player for Bon Jovi.
Well, I'm dreaming I'm in the Entrepreneurs in Fuego show, and you're under my command, and you're going to tell us, you're going to take us out, you're going to say, we are out.
We are out, but come back and see me the next time.
There you go. Got him.